Hello, this is part 2 of creating a Raspberry Pi Kiosk. In this part, I'm going to go over configuring the OS and some peripheral software that you'll need to get this up and running. Just as a kind of a review about what we've done and what we're going to do. In the last video, I showed you, talked about the different hardware that you would need, and kind of showed you how to install the Raspberry Pi OS onto a micro SD card. And I think when we left off, we actually plugged in this the Raspberry Pi with the card in it and left off there. I'm going to go over kind of what you need to do from that point. You come to a screen that looks like this, and then there's some configuring you need to do. So I'll go over that. It's pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to go over how to install Apache web server and PHP. And if you are not familiar with either of those, it shouldn't be a big deal. It's pretty straightforward, and you don't really need to know much in the way of coding. I'm going to give you in the next video a few files, PHP files, that you just need to know how to, like, where to put them on the Raspberry Pi, and I'm going to go over that. And then there's some very minimal kind of tweaking to customize it for your company or whatever you're using the kiosk for. All right, and so with that in mind, so when you power up the Raspberry Pi, and like I said, you would need to plug in a micro HDMI cord to your Raspberry Pi, and you should have the full HDMI on the other end of that cord that's going to go into your monitor. If you're going to use the monitor that I talked about in the last video that I'm actually using to demo this, I'll go over in the next video how you can configure that monitor. It's pretty easy though. Anyway, let's go over. So this will pop up when you plug in the Raspberry Pi. Make sure you have a keyboard and a mouse attached as well. And then you'll just hit next here, and you'll be prompted with this screen that's going to ask you, like, what country you're in, what language do you want the OS to be the default language, what's your time zone, what kind of keyboard are you using, all that kind of stuff. And just kind of put all that in and then hit next. And you'll get a screen that's going to ask you to enter a new username and password. Just keep note of this because you will need it for when you connect to your Raspberry Pi remotely. Okay, so just hit next when you're done there. And there may be a screen or two in between this. Just go with whatever default settings are. If there's something I'm leaving out, I apologize. But you'll eventually get to this screen that says Update Software. It is a good idea. One of the screens that should be in between here is a screen that's going to ask you to enter the Wi-Fi. And so enter the Wi-Fi for wherever you are so that the Raspberry Pi can connect to it. Because it's important that you do, I would say, don't skip this. Go ahead and do the updates. Getting the most up-to-date OS is important for being able to run the needed software. All right, and so that may take some time depending on how many updates were needed. But just let it go. It could seriously take like a half hour. Potentially, it might not take that much at all. Once you're done, just hit OK. You'll be prompted to restart. Go ahead and do that. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the home screen of your Raspberry Pi and click in the top left-hand corner, the little Raspberry Pi icon, and just select Preferences and select Raspberry Pi Configuration. A screen like this will pop up. Make sure you're in the Interfaces tab and go ahead and enable the SSH feature. And so this is real important. SSH is what you use for connecting to the Raspberry Pi remotely, which is super handy for the different commands that we need to give the Raspberry Pi. It's easy enough, and you will be prompted to probably restart after you hit OK to this screen. And so let that happen, let it restart. And then the next thing you'll do once it's back up and running is in the top right-hand corner, you're going to hover over the Wi-Fi icon and just see what the IP address is as you hover over it. Take note of that, write it down. If you have to, take a picture with your phone. And then you're going to go to your computer, your Mac or PC, and you're going to bring up terminal, right? And terminal screen that looks kind of like this. And you're going to put in some commands. All right, so you want to put in the following command in the terminal: SSH, which is a command that says you're going to connect to a remote device, and then a space, and then the username. That's a username that you created when you were setting up the OS for the Raspberry Pi, and then and then on the right hand side, the @ symbol, the IP address, and that's the IP address you identified on your Raspberry Pi when you were hovering over the Wi-Fi connection. So just put that in there, press enter, and then you'll be presented with a screen that looks like this here. The first time that you connect on a particular Wi-Fi to your Raspberry Pi, you'll be presented with this line here. It says, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Just type in yes and press enter. And then you'll get this screen where you have the opportunity to put in the password. And that is the password, once again, that you use to set up when you were setting up the OS and you created the username. So whatever that password was identified with that username, you will type in here. And just a note, when you type in here, you're not going to see anything, no asterisks or anything. It's a little alarming if it's the first time you've ever done this, because it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but it is. So just type in the password and press enter, and you know everything worked when you get this display here, and you should see this green connection with the username at Raspberry Pi. And then you'll be able to put in other commands here that will be applied to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, now that we are connected to our Raspberry Pi, we can now in terminal run some commands that will install software directly to the Raspberry Pi. And so these are the two lines I'm going to want you to run so that we can get our web server environment up and running. The web server is, we're going to use PHP pages that need to run on this web server that are going to be the interface for our kiosk. Don't worry about if that sounds technical. There's no need, you don't need to know how to program to be able to run this. You just need to be able to place files in specific directories. And I'll go over all that stuff in the next video. But for the time being, we need to install this. So you're going to run the sudo app update. Always good to make sure the Raspberry Pi is up to date before you install any major software. And then you're going to run this line, which installs the Apache web server and the PHP modules so that it is capable of running PHP pages. And that's it. If you're interested in, if you have a lot of experience, you could install MySQL, but the files I give you don't use MySQL, so that's only if you intend to do more with this web server. Okay, so let this run. It may take a few minutes, and then you have the web server environment installed. Let me know if you have any issue with the installation. Typically, this installation goes well. I've done it a bunch of times and very rarely have run into any problems. All right, so after that is all done installing, you can go ahead and test it out. And to test it out, you can create a file in the main web folder, which is var www/html. And if you do sudo nano that folder system and then the info.php, that creates a new PHP page called info.php. And if you add these lines, so Nano will actually give you this little lightweight document editor in terminal, and you can just type in these 3 lines right here when you see. It's just a very basic PHP info command. But when you hit save, you'll hit X, which exits out of Nano, hit save, and then you can navigate on your laptop to this web address. If localhost doesn't work, just put in the IP address of the Raspberry Pi /info.php, and you should see a bunch of stuff that pops up on the page, which is information about the configuration of your PHP. You don't have to be concerned with it, just as long as it pops up and you see something. All right, so the last thing I'll talk about in this video is installing FileZilla. You're going to want to do that because in the next video I'm going to give you some files. There's going to be a GitHub repository that I'm going to point you to that you can download these files, and then you will want to upload those files to your Raspberry Pi. And to do that, you need FileZilla. It's a free FTP software. I will go over how you use it in the next video. It's very simple, though. You don't need any experience. All right, that was a lot I threw at you, so I'm going to stop there. And in the next video, we will complete this installation.